So today's episode, we're super excited to have another special guest on today. He is he's a good friend of mine. He also happens to be related to me, and his name is
Rueben
Hirschberger. He's a cousin, first cousin. His brother Roman was on episode 6, I think. Lamina, do you remember? I don't remember anymore. But he has a twin brother. He was on one of the earlier episodes, and we're so honored to have you on, Ruben. Thank you for coming on today, and we're excited to get into your story. What we're going to get into today is I just wanted Ruben to share a little bit of the details about when he left, how he left, and what his family dynamics were at home, how many siblings he had, and so we're going to cover some of that today, and I'm excited to hear it, and I know the audience will be as well. So if you don't mind sharing, did you grow up in a house with a mom and a dad present? And if so, how many siblings did you have? Where did you fall in line with your siblings?
Yeah, so, there's 15 in the family. I have 14 siblings, and I'm kind of towards the end of the lower in age, and anyway, yeah. What?
I just asked. Yeah, I asked if your mom and dad were present. I guess I can answer that because they were both.
Yeah, both my parents. Both my parents were present, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, and for those of you that aren't familiar with the Amish community, most of the parents stay together. I mean, occasionally you'll have a family that's split up, but it's very, very rare. So how many did you say that were in your family?
There's 15 of us.
15, the same mom and the same dad.
That's correct.
Troopers. Yeah, that's a big family.
Yeah, the most we had at home at one time was 10 of us.
And, okay. So the older ones had kind of moved off.
Yeah. My oldest sister actually was not in the home. Well, I didn't know my oldest sister, to be honest.
Wow.
And,
okay.
I would say maybe the four older siblings already had left the home before I remember much of the home or my family, I guess.
Yeah. So because you were there's 3 younger than you, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So there's twins, and then you had three siblings younger, a brother or 2 brothers and a sister.
2 brothers and 1 sister younger than me.
So you were far enough down in the age line in the family line that you didn't really know your older siblings that well.
Right. Yeah.
So was it just because your older sister had left the Amish early, right?
Yeah. So actually, my oldest sister had left the Amish before I was born. So I didn't even know I had a oldest or sister, Elizabeth, until I was maybe 8-9 years old.
No way. So they kept
because she wouldn't come around much due to mom and dad not wanting her to come around.
Oh wow.
And but my second oldest sister, I remember some about her when she was still Amish, because I was 5 years old.
Oh, okay.
We would go on horse and buggy rides with her at times.
Okay.
So I remember a little bit about her. But.
Yeah. So you're older because she left. Also, the Amish that the ones that leave, they don't really talk about them that much. You don't get a lot of information. Because my older brother had left, my oldest brother had left, and when they leave, they just kind of write them off as they're no longer a part of the family.
Correct. That's kind of how this was, I mean, yeah, they would just be completely silent about it.
Yeah.
Maybe kind of like once they had they look at it like they don't have a daughter anymore, from parents' perspective.
That's so crazy.
After they leave, it's like you're no longer a part of them.
Yeah.
It's almost like they write you off as you died,
Yeah. I know that's some of the stories that have been shared on our podcast is they do get written off as like they passed, so to speak, like they don't exist anymore. I know that wasn't really my story because my parents were a little bit more relaxed when it came to the rules, I guess. But I mean, you definitely get disowned from the community. I mean, that was my experience. But just as a child-parent relationship, they welcomed us back home. But for you guys, it was a little your parent or your dad.
It took a while. I would say towards, I don't know, it maybe took about 2 years or so after I left. I guess if I'm not jumping ahead.
No, that's great. Go ahead.
So about, it took like 2 years before it was kind of appreciated by my parents to see us again.
Yeah. Wow.
And then when the youngest left, then it kind of caused a friction again. The younger two, Josie and Mary, when they left, it was, they didn't really want us to come around.
Yeah.
Again for a while, but I would say like now, of course, after Dad passed away, it's my mom is always happy to see us come back, and she actually wants us to come back more often. So
that's great. But your dad, so take me back when you first left or when you decided to leave. What was that like, and how long did you plan that out before you then actually left? Like you had been thinking about it for a while.
So for a long time, I thought I would never leave, and
why was that?
It was more because I guess maybe a little bit due to the drama that was going on at the time with my older sister. We just kind of had decided to stick together and not leave, even though they were kind of expecting us to leave.
Like your parents, like they mean?
Yeah, my parents. Yeah, my parents were kind of expecting us to leave, and we were, I guess, just kind of maybe going in opposition in that, I guess. And then, but anyway, it wasn't too bad at home until after my twin brother left. It wasn't too bad at home until it took about 6 months, I would say. And then Dad, kind of did his thing again, where he's always trying to find something on you to discipline you for it and stuff like that. And I guess that's kind of what drove me to leave, was obviously the radio thing. So I had 2 radios, and he had found out that I had one. So when I went and got that, he went out to the barn and pulled my other radio off the bucky. So that really kind of didn't sit well with me, I should say. And so I was gonna leave that weekend, but I wasn't. Didn't have any plans. I couldn't plan it quick enough, so I kind of planned over a course of a week. And so I was kind of thinking, well, maybe I'll buy a radio and stick around. And then when I went to buy a radio, he didn't have the radio I wanted, the guy I was buying the radio from.
Yeah.
or thought I was buying a radio from. Didn't have the radio I wanted. So I just asked him to use his phone, and could make some phone calls and arrange to leave that weekend. So that's
Wow. So I give a little bit.
and yeah. So anyway, I went to growing up when you're 16, age 16, you go to like a gathering, I guess. Or
youth
singing, youth group. There you go.
16 and a half, right?
Yep, 16 and a half. You go to a youth group. So and I was 18 at the time. And so I've, been doing that for a few years there. And so I went to the youth group, and then I told them to meet me there. And I just ditched the horse and buggy there and went with my brothers after they came to pick me up.
So you just left the horse and buggy?
I just left the horse and buggy.
Okay,
there,
before we get into that, I wanna just put some context around the whole radio thing, because there's probably a lot of people wondering what's up with the radio. So the Amish are not, at least the way we grew up, the Amish, and I can speak for the way you grew up, because I mean, for all the Swartzen troopers, because like the way that we grew up actually about probably about 10 miles from each other, different churches, but same community. And the radios amongst the Swartzen troopers you're not allowed to have them. And so when kids join the youth, that's usually when they get, I mean, most of the time that's when they go out and buy their first radio. And so what Rueben is talking about is his dad found out about the one radio and was going to take it and smash it, and he had two of them, and then obviously he found the second one too, and that's like a big deal because you go partying on the weekends, and if you don't have your radio, every Amish kid that I know at one point or another had a radio. And we'd always hide it somewhere where the parents couldn't find it, or just keep it a secret and listen to the radio whenever the parents were gone, or listen to the radio on the way to church and then hide it under a blanket in the buggy and, and then go partying after church.
Exactly how we used to do it.
So, if you're close to an Amish community, you want to make some extra money, just tell the kids. Don't tell them I said that. Anyway, those are common things that come up within the community, is because a kid is like, you really get like shaped by a lot of the music, or at least I did. Like I love listening to music, and so whenever I didn't have, wasn't able to listen to music, it was a pretty boring weekend. It's just
like
boring.
You're being punished.
Being punished. And that happened all the time. Like our parents would find the radio, smash them, burn them, whatever. And but you said when you went to actually leave, you just left the horse and buggy somewhere?
Yeah. So I kind of forget the name of the family that where they helped.
Oh, gotcha. So you left it at another Amish person's house.
Yeah. Where the youth group was.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
And so
that's crazy.
I guess I never heard how they got the horse and buggy back. But that's,
probably
they weren't pleased with me, and I know that.
Yeah.
I heard. My parents, they were not pleased with me on that.
I bet they weren't. Sure. Yeah. So you called your brothers, because Roman is your twin brother, and he had left before you.
Like 8 months.
8 months.
Before I did.
And then your other brother had left after Roman had left. Your younger brother.
Andy, the younger brother. He had left long before Roman. He had a year before.
Yeah, gotcha. So there's like you can see like the time in between each one leaving, because the parents go through a grieving process, because they they treat it like they just lost another child, which
Absolutely.
being a parent, like I can understand that if your child just left and was like, you kind of left you, like if my child left me without any detail and just treated me like I'm not their parent, which is not the case for the children. It's just a decision that's made because when you leave, I mean, you really don't have that connection anymore with your parents. It's a very weird dynamic, but they treat it like they just lost another child, almost like death. And so it takes some time for healing. The parent gets back to somewhat normal. Then another child leaves.
Right, yeah. So that was really kind of the thing, especially when I was that age to where I was running around and doing all kinds of stuff or whatever. Yeah. There were enough of us at home still. I mean, I recall, what was it, 7 of my siblings leaving. So I experienced all, that. Actually, maybe even more than that, 8 probably.
And that's not a fun thing to experience.
No,
I experienced that as well. Like I experienced most of my siblings leaving, and I was still at home because I was the last one to leave from home. So yeah, that's not fun.
I guess we kind of have the same thing similar. And
there's a lot of anger that comes with that because you feel like you're being left behind.
I would say big time in my situation because I had talked about, I would say maybe a year about a year before Roman left, before my twin brother left, and we shared the same room and everything. I had talked about leaving, and he talked me out of it.
Wow.
Like, okay, well, all right. And then, when he left and didn't tell me, I kind of felt betrayed.
I bet you did. Man, that had to have been hard. Because he's your twin brother. I mean, right? You guys are pretty close.
And the fact that he was able to pull it off, that I didn't find anything out about it.
Yeah. So how did you actually, you call your brothers to come pick you up. You left the horse and buggy. Did you leave any note or anything behind for your parents?
I don't think no, I did not. I did not leave a note. Trying to think if I told anybody about it. I believe I did tell someone about it. And plus, most of everybody there knew that I was leaving when they came to pick me up. Just they drove into the place was to pick up, and then I jumped in. Kind of.
So it was more public among them.
It was public when I jumped into the vehicle to leave.
Yeah, and that does happen. Like that happens very, very seldom, but it does happen where the kids just up and leave, like in that way, like that somebody pulls into the youth group party or whatever gathering, and somebody else just hops in the truck and says, "I'm out of here." So that happens occasionally, but most of the time it's the other way around, where it's like planned out. You leave
a note.
You leave a note, and
I would say, trying to think, because Roman left a note.
Okay.
Since he didn't tell me that he was leaving, he actually left a note for all of us.
Have you guys since worked that out? Like, what did you have to say?
Yeah, I guess I didn't really hold anything against him. I was like,
I understand why. So you had mentioned a little bit about how your dad he was one way after Roman left, but then after a while, he kind of treated you. In what way would you say that was like? You just treated you like crap, or like?
Yeah, just constantly. into your business, I guess.
And how old were you at the time?
Well, I was 18 at that
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
When I left.
So you were definitely old enough to make your own decisions.
I was of age, right? Yeah, and just when I had planned to leave, I was only 17, and part of the reason I didn't leave at 17 is due to not being of age to where I would then be reported, because I had a younger brother that already had been reported.
Oh, okay.
And so
did he get taken back home?
So he kind of got away. He stayed under the radar until my oldest brother came back to talk to my dad about it and stuff. And
okay.
And of course, he kind of played it off like he didn't know where he went, when. And my older brother, oldest brother, I guess I should say, kind of played it off like he didn't know where he went, and so he kind of negotiated a deal with Dad that he would take responsibility for him if he would find him, and sort of, be his overseer, I guess, and take care of him, since he was only 15, I think.
No way.
Yeah, he was only 15 years old when.
Was that Andy?
That was Andy.
Wow, I didn't know he was only 15 when he left. That's crazy. Yeah, that's young.
Right. That was super young there.
Yeah, that's probably a record within the community. I mean, I've never met a kid that left at 15. I didn't realize Andy had left at 15. I knew he was young, but I didn't know. But yeah, that's wild. So I could see why your dad would have called him in, because I mean that's
right. I mean, even, and that was kind of the thing that my oldest brother was able to work out with him. He's like, obviously Andy doesn't want to come back.
Yeah.
And at that time, Dad actually acknowledged it. Like, well, if he doesn't want to come back and stay at home, then he's not going to force that on him. But as a child, he's still responsible for him. So he wants to, so basically he had to report him lost, child. So that's how my oldest brother was able to help him. Andy, and kind of be there for him, I guess.
Yeah.
And the fact that he never had to go back Amish or anything, back home. And so that's.
So what was it like when after you got out, you hopped in the truck, you left? Did your brothers? You started working with your brothers right away as a job?
Yeah. So the next day, I think I had like maybe $200 to my name.
Wow. So you had a little bit of money.
And I mean, I did construction work. I'm forgetting now. I think they were working on a cabin, so we were finishing the inside of a big cabin.
Okay.
So I got to help on that, and then obviously I'm trying to think. So I went to work right away. Still had the long hair, the Amish hair and haircut.
You hadn't cut your hair yet?
I had not cut my hair yet, and we just took off early that day to go get me a haircut. So
nice.
that felt different.
Those are some great times and great memories of that with your brothers, like green off the farm, like hanging out.
And anyway, they helped me with clothes. They bought some clothes for me, and a few pairs anyhow. And
where did you guys go to get clothes?
Walmart.
Yeah, okay.
Some Walmart Wranglers, I believe, and t-shirts and
yeah.
And so I guess that's kind of.
So you had left. You started working with them, and then how did you just moved in with them as a place to live?
Yeah. So well, at the time we were actually working for our oldest brother.
Oh,
it was
okay.
me, Roman, and some a younger kid that grew up in the same community that we did, Eli Swartzentruber.
Oh yes, I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah, we all had a place, so we were sharing the rent. We had a trailer house.
Yeah, I remember that place.
That's right. We were there a couple times.
Yeah, I was there a few times.
Yeah, so we split the rent on that. It was tough because it was back in 2009 when construction wasn't the greatest.
Yeah, I remember that.
There were a few times I wasn't sure where the next meal is going to come from.
Yeah.
And
that's around the same time I left, and it was rough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was rough to get a job anywhere because, I mean, not having a career, not having parents that guide you a certain way.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
And my first year out, that it was super tough.
Yeah.
I really had nothing to rely on except for work and me being able to work. Yeah. I was kind of taken away because I was limited on my experience. All I knew to do was construction, and that was a really tough industry at that time.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember we had to drive really far just to do small jobs sometimes.
Yeah, I'd like to just add to that because it's a skill that is highly valuable to have, is to be able to build stuff. You guys are incredible builders as well, and he's located in Iowa now, so if you ever need someone to build you something, you can reach out to Rueben Hirschberger. But you guys are incredible builders. But the personal development side of like being able to figure out how to advertise your businesses and things like that, it's not something that we're really taught to do, and within the Amish community, it's just you just go to work
through relations or word of mouth, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's how you get your work.
Yeah, and usually when you're in the community, the people that living around that community, they know about the Amish and know that do great work, and so they just hire them for that. But once you get out of the community, you're kind of like you're in this middle ground where people don't know you yet really, and it's a little tougher to get work sometimes.
Yeah, even to get hired on, with someone, since a lot of that also involves knowing somebody.
Yes. Yeah.
To get hired on with someone.
Well, that's
so. Yeah, I mean,
you put on your resume. I remember doing like, I think the most applications that I ever did was like 16 or 18 applications during 2009, 2010, somewhere in that time frame. And what are you going to put down for education? What are you going to have on there for your resume? What's a resume? Like we were.
Nobody's going to reach out to someone with an 8th grade education.
I remember filling out 16 or 18 applications in one setting. I just went through the list. And Goodwill, out of all places, was the only one that called me, and I got one interview, and they didn't call me back. and I just thought to myself, this is crazy. Like, I'm not going to be able to get a job with an 8th grade education. I always put down Amish education because I hope that somebody looks at that and says, this kid can, he has potential to work.
Someone that knows Amish.
Yeah, that knows the Amish. And I think that's the only upside that we have is the fact that if somebody gives us a chance, then we're able to prove, hey, we can do
Right.
great things. It's just we don't have like the higher education, so to speak, to put on resumes and make the paper look good.
Right. And no record of work history.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I worked on the farm for the last 10 years or whatever that you put down, but we are actually running out of time already. So I really appreciate you coming in today and making this happen real quick. Today's episode's going to be a little bit shorter, but hopefully we'll have Rueben back on and we can get into more of his story and even cover some of his journey along the way up to where he's at today. He's doing very well, by the way, today. But if you're in the Iowa area, and I don't know if you want to get more specific with that, but just look him up on Facebook, direct message him, and you can support him by giving him any projects that you might need to have done or quoted. But do you have anything more that you want to add to that, or?
Not at
this point. So. All right. Well, thank you for tuning into today's episode and watching the Amish Rebel, and we'll see you in the next video.